This is Doxy Mom, and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't done so already, I greatly appreciate if you hit that little red subscribe button. You can ring the bell for notifications, and if you like this video, just give it a thumbs up. Well, Miss Cindy and I, we're here to bring you the news in 15 minutes or less, so let's get started. Now, 2 people have been indicted this week. First, 11 Alive is reporting that the U.S. Attorney's Office handed down an indictment against an Atlanta City Councilman, Antonio Brown. On Wednesday, a grand jury charged Brown with wire fraud, mail fraud, bank fraud, and making false statements on a bank loan application. Now, the 35-year-old councilman, he opened up a number of credit cards, then used them to make thousands of dollars worth of purchases, like a Mercedes C300 and a Range Rover. Then Brown allegedly falsely claimed that his identity had been stolen and someone else made those purchases. Now, Brown, he's been on the council since 2019 and represents Atlanta's District 3, but the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, the Social Security Administration Office of Inspector General, and the IRS Criminal Investigation Division, well, they're investigating the case. I'll keep you posted, and I'll leave a link. Then next, the DOJ U.S. Attorney's Office from the Central District of California released that a federal grand jury on Wednesday returned a superseding indictment charging Ed Buck with 4 additional felonies. Now, Buck was arrested back in September of 2019 after being charged with providing methamphetamines to a man who died. Since that time, federal authorities have continued to investigate. The 4 additional charges bring the total to 9. One count alleges that Buck enticed Jamel Moore to travel to Los Angeles to engage in prostitution. Buck is charged with another count of enticing a man to travel for prostitution. The indictment also charges Buck with 1 count of knowingly and intentionally distributing methamphetamines and 1 count of using his residence for distributing narcotics. Now, another victim, Timothy Dean, also suffered a fatal overdose in Buck's apartment on January 7th, 2019. Now, Buck is scheduled for trial on January 19th, 2021. Each of the charges alleging the distribution of narcotics resulting in death carries a mandatory minimum sentence of 20 years in federal prison and a maximum of life without parole. And this happened twice, guys. Then the 4 new charges, they carry a maximum sentence of 60 years. So if he's found guilty, they will lock him up in prison and throw away the key. Let's just pray for justice and that he will repent and find Jesus in prison. And thank you, Sherry Hot App, for sending me this on Twitter. Now, to all my North Carolinians out there, it seems that we're going to be stuck in this phase 2 for 5 more weeks. Why am I not surprised? Now, Chuck Callisto, he tweeted about this saying, "Breaking report, NC will stay in phase 2 until at least September 11th, absolutely crushing small business within its borders. Should one man have all this power, or should this be voted on by constituents?" End tweet. Well, we all know the answer to that. And then Ryan Fournier, he also tweeted about this, saying that one man alone should not have this kind of power. This is tyranny. We must remove Roy Cooper in November. And Ryan, I totally agree. So just please pray that Dan Forrest will beat out Roy in November. Now, Praying Medic, he tweeted about Sally Yates's testimony. And guys, I apologize. I just didn't have time to watch that yesterday. I'm still working on our yearly barrel racing clinic where we invite all these youth in and we teach the kids about barrel racing and we teach them about Jesus. So this is just a very busy time for me. But Praying Medic, when in this tweet, he kind of summed it all up. He said, regarding Sally Yates's testimony, the plan is to limit criminal suspicion to a few bad cops in the FBI. DOJ, White House, C_A, State Department, etc., will point the finger of blame at Comey and McCabe. Comey and McCabe will, in turn, claim they were following orders from DOJ and White House in tweet. Well, of course they will. But guys, don't worry. They are all going to go down for this, and it goes all the way to the top because the Gateway Pundit's reporting that both Obama and Joe Biden were involved in the plot to take down President Trump and his associates, specifically General Flynn. Obama and Biden were in that infamous January 5th, 2017 meeting discussing General Flynn's phone call with Ambassador Kislyak. Also in attendance was Sally Yates, who signed off on all those FISA warrants. Jim Comey was there, Susan Rice, and John Brennan. Let's not forget him, y'all. Biden, he sought to unmask General Flynn on January 12th, and they unmasked General Flynn dozens of times. So this dirty, rotten gang, they were spying on President Trump, doing everything in their power to take him down. Well, it didn't work, and people will go to Gitmo for treason, and I will leave a link. Now, that wonderful patriot we all love, General Flynn, he wrote a letter to America in the Western Journal, and I'd like to read it to you. And it says, "We are witnessing a vicious assault by enemies of all that is good, and our president is having to act in ways unprecedented in decades, maybe centuries. The biblical nature of good versus evil cannot be discounted as we examine what is happening on the streets of America. It's Marxism in the form of Antifa and the Black Lives Matter movement versus our very capable and very unappreciated law enforcement professionals, the vast majority of whom are fighting to provide us safe and secure homes, streets, and communities. When the destiny of the United States is at stake, and it is, the very future of the entire world is threatened. As Christians, shouldn't we act? We recognize that divine providence is the ultimate judge of our destiny. Achieving our destiny as freedom-loving nation, providence compels us to do our part in our communities. It encourages us in this battle against the forces of evil to face our fears head on. No enemy on earth is stronger than the united forces of God-fearing, freedom-loving people. We can no longer pretend that these dark forces are going to go away by mere prayer alone. Prayers matter, but action is required. This action is needed at the local, state, and federal levels. Action is also required in the economic, media, clerical, and ecclesiastical realms. Decide how you can act within your abilities. Stand up and state your beliefs. Be proud of who you are and what you stand for, and face head on those community leaders who are willing to allow dark forces to go beyond peaceful protest and destroy and violate your safety and security. Churches and houses of worship must return to normal. We invite everyone of goodwill to not shirk their responsibilities and instead act in a fraternal fashion. If for no other reason or with no other ability, act in a spirit of charity. We cannot disrespect or disregard natural law along with our own religious liberties and freedoms. I am witnessing elderly people lose their connection to all that is good in their lives, connections to their faith, their families, and their individual freedoms, especially the simple act of attending church, something they've been doing for decades. Let us not be intimidated or fear those who cry out that we are in the minority. We are not. Good is always more powerful and will prevail over evil. However, evil will succeed for a time when people are divided from each other and their personal lives. Children away from their teachers, preachers from their congregations, customers from their local businesses. America will never give in to evil. Americans work together to solve problems. We do not and should not ever allow anarchy and the evil forces behind it to operate on any street in our nation. No one should have to fear for their life because some dark, disturbed force is challenged by the very essence of what America stands for. We are one nation under God, and it is in our individual liberties that make us strong, not liberties given to our government. Our government has no liberty unless and until we the people say so. God bless America, and let's stand by everything that was and is good in our lives, in our communities, and in our country. Otherwise, America, as the true North Star for humanity, will cease to exist as we know it. Guys, General Flynn, he understands what's happening. This is war. We are literally fighting for our freedom, our way of life, and our lives. So spread the truth. Share my channel with others. Run for office. Talk to people. Support patriotic organizations and good Bible-based churches. And pray. This is how we fight. This is how we win. Well, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, this is Doxy Mom, and God bless you all.